Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the call tonight. My name's Nikki McCutchen. We are so excited that you're here. Please know that whoever invited you to the call must really want you to know about this technology because they care about you so much. Because there is so many of us that are just watching miracles happen every single day in people's lives because of this technology and how amazing our bodies are created, and being able to have access to a technology that supports your own body is just truly such a gift. And so we are so excited to be able to share that with you tonight. So with that, the call, like I said, will be for about 30 minutes. We will get started with our medical disclaimer. Tonight, what we'll be sharing is for informational purposes only. All Lifeway products are not intended to treat, cure, diagnose, or prevent any dis-ease. If you're pregnant or nursing or have medical conditions, please make sure to check with your healthcare practitioner first. So with that, I'm going to tell you, I don't know, I have this, it's on a weird spot on my wrist. I don't know if that's good. Here, there we go. Oh God. Here is this technology that I'm going to show you tonight and just talk to you about this technology and all the amazing things that it does in our bodies. But this technology is actually FDA recognized and compliant as a general wellness product. It is a class 1 medical device. It is made up of organic amino acids, salts, and sugars in this crystal lattice structure that's actually reflective. That reflection actually, it reflects your own body's light back into itself. And I'm going to explain that here in a little bit in a minute. But it is a medical grade plastic, completely hypoallergenic. It has a 96% effectiveness rate. So the other thing is that, so think about that for a second. 96% effectiveness rate. There is hardly anything that you can find that's naturally that has that high of an effectiveness rate. So even like supplementation, what you're looking for is something that has 40% or higher, but for something to be at 96%, that's truly miraculous. There is truly nothing else in the world that does what X39 does and operate the way this technology operates. We have over 150 patents. There's over 90 clinical studies. It truly is just amazing. It's been around for over 20 years, this kind of technology. So with that, let's talk about how it actually works. So the process is actually called photobiomodulation, which is just a big word for light making change in the body. You can actually see that the light, because now with daylight savings time, the light is coming through this window that's over here on my left and hitting my hair. That light from the sun is actually when it hits your skin and it hits your eyes, it tells your body to make vitamin D and cause that vitamin D to go and do what it was designed to do in the body. So it allows your body to have that activation of that vitamin D. So this amazing technology we see even in red light therapy products, that's what they're based around, is what we already have in the sun. So scientists studying what has happened with the sun and then basing technology around that. So this technology, I think I forgot to tell you, is completely non-transdermal. So there's nothing that transfers from the patch into your body. It's completely sealed on both sides. So how I was talking about before, it is reflective with the crystal lattice structure, reflecting back into the body our own infrared light. I know that sounds strange as well, but actually it's something that you already know about, just like with the sun and the vitamin D, is that every time that, like you see on the movies, and they're looking through those night vision goggles and they're talking about a heat signature, scientifically, that is a low-grade infrared light that comes out everywhere in our bodies. And you can usually see that multicolored infrared light that's actually everywhere in our bodies, emitting out from our bodies. This patch, then it hits that crystal lattice structure, it gets reflected back into our bodies at a very specific frequency to turn on different peptides in our body to have them be elevated and activated so that they can go and do what they were already designed to do in the body. This technology is just telling them to get up, get working the way that they were designed, just like when that sun hits our skin and our eyes and it tells our body to make that vitamin D. Same exact process, only we don't need the sun. We are the sun. We become the light and the heat source that reflects off that patch that then allows our body to elevate and activate different peptides in the body. This specific peptide that we're going to talk about tonight is called GHK copper peptide. That peptide has been around. It was found over 50 years ago by Dr. Lauren Picard. This is one of his books. If you want to grab that on Amazon, it's just a great book if you're kind of a science geek like me and want to dive deeper into the research on the peptide. You can do that. You can also Google it. It's going to come up with a very long list of things that this peptide does. You can go on PubMed. It's going to be pages and pages of information about all the research for the past 50 years on what GHK copper peptide does. The first thing that I want to talk to you about of what it does is it activates and elevates stem cells in your body that are already there that have decided to age. They just normally go down that aging process like all of our bodies do, and they are aging. So by the time we are 30, we only have about 50% of those stem cells that are working the way that they were designed to work. By the time we're 60, we only have 10% that are any longer operating optimally in our body to give our bodies the support that they need to regenerate, to heal from wounds and accidents and things like that, to just have the natural body's processes work well. Those stem cells, we only have about 10% now by the time we're 60 that are really operating optimally. So you can see, if you just think about between the ages of 30 and 60, all the aches, the pains, the disease, the illness that kind of sets in because we're going down that natural aging process, those things that set in that cause us problems. And so if we had those stem cells that were still activated at that optimal level at a younger, healthier state, those things wouldn't set in. They just would not ever have the ability to set in because those stem cells are able to go and regenerate whatever's going on with us. So like when you think about when you were young and your, children are riding a bike or you are riding a bike and you fall down, you just get right back up and get back on that bike and just keep going. If grandma, which I've had this happen, grandma tries to ride a bike, she flips over her handlebars and doesn't get back up on that bike and keep riding it down the street. So sorry, Mom, whenever you watch this, you'll have a nice little memory of us riding bikes, doing that together with the grandkids, your grandkids, because you're wanting to still participate. Anyway, so that is not, grandma doesn't get up from that. So we got to go back into the house. She's not getting back up and riding her bike. But when they're young, when your stem cells are young, you can continue to go and do all of those things because you have the ability for those stem cells to regenerate and activate. So that is the first major thing, an important thing that GHK copper peptide does for us. The next thing is that it activates and elevates your entire cardiovascular system with the support that it needs to operate properly. So the lining of your blood vessels, your heart, everything about your cardiovascular system at the mitochondrial level gets supported like it needs to. So I see it all the time where people's blood pressure comes back into balance, which is so fabulous. That is a very common thing because of what GHK copper peptide does in the body for your cardiovascular system. So that's two. Your brain, your third thing. People's brains, the clinical studies show at about 6 weeks, people's brains will begin to balance. They will be able to think more clearer. Their brain fog begins to go away. Even anxiety and depression can begin to lift because of the support that they now have with GHK copper peptide. So hugely beneficial. Again, highly recommend you look at the things that GHK copper peptide does because it's so phenomenal for the brain. Your collagen. So most people think collagen is just hair, skin, and nails. It's not. It is actually the glue that holds our entire body together. So it supports everything in your body. So the ligaments, the tendons, the cartilage, the fascia, all of the meridian systems in our body. This is the coolest thing. I just learned this a little while ago and it's fascinating to me. So all of the meridian systems in your body for acupuncture, this is totally scientific. All of those systems are teeny tiny wrapped pieces of collagen that run through your entire body that is able to then communicate with your entire body that is made up of collagen. Collagen is literally the glue that holds us together. So I don't know about you, but I want my collagen to be supported at that foundational level, not just something that I can take that's going to benefit my hair, skin, and nails, but everything from the inside, everything that is literally the foundation of my body and having that being supported and active. So the collagen is huge in our bodies. The fifth is your immune system. Again, another one of those things that if we can activate and elevate and help our body whenever it's exposed to toxins to be able to deal with those toxins, to detoxify those toxins without us getting sick or being down for a really long time, I want that to operate as optimally as possible. And I know I would think that the majority of people are going to agree with me on that. So hugely beneficial for your immune system. So let's dig a little bit deeper into talking about stem cells. And just when we're talking about stem cells, most people, what they're thinking of is like a stem cell injection. So the cool thing is that you can actually use this amazing technology to activate your own body stem cells, not necessary for injection, no chemicals, no drugs, no stimulants. This has nothing to do with any of these things, but this allows you to pursue optimal health from the inside out. So you don't have to get an injection, which are thousands and thousands of dollars. This is going to be pennies on the dollar. You will be able to support yourself with this technology for years compared to what just one injection would cost you as a stem cell injection. And a stem cell injection is not going to also support your cardiovascular system, your brain, your collagen, your immune system. It's not going to do any of those other things. We can show through our clinical tests that it supports all of those things with one tiny little patch that you put on each and every day. You wear it for 12 hours on, 12 hours off. So 12 hours on to activate and repair, 12 hours off to allow your body to just give it a break. Because what we're telling these stem cells and that copper peptide to do, get up and get going. And so we're signaling it. So it has a light signal that it's being told to move and go and get to work the way that it was designed to do. It's going to need a break from that because eventually, if we keep signaling it and keep wearing this technology, our body is going to say, I'm done. I can't work anymore. I'm tired. And so that's why you've got to give it that 12-hour break. So that's the recommendation, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. We are always going to recommend that hydration is huge. Just know that hydration is key for any of your body systems to work properly. You must have high quality hydration, good electrolytes, good high quality water for those cells to be able to talk to each other and do what they're designed to do. Our technology is going to work better when you utilize that high quality hydration as well. Of course, combining this with a proper nutrition and exercise, that's going to just make it that much better. But the amazing thing is that we see people utilize this technology all the time that aren't really pursuing health in those avenues, and they still get benefits. That's what's incredible. The cool thing is the more that you actively pursue and invest in your health in all of those ways, in high quality hydration, in good high quality diet, nutrition, and exercise, this is going to help this technology work even more effectively, more efficiently, and quicker. And so that is what is truly amazing about this technology. So many things, so many reasons that you want to get started on that today, for sure. So I am just going to open it up. We have some time. We'll open this up for questions, or if anybody has a story they would like to share. So you can post a question in the chat. You can raise your hand and come on. You can just unmute yourself and start talking. So any questions about any of our technology or any stories that you have seen recently for those of you who are helping other people use the technology, we would love to hear your stories as well.
Okay, I'm waiting for somebody else.
It's you, Vicki. It's you. We're glad you're here.
I will share. So, Saturday, I'm pretty sure it was Saturday. It was either Saturday or Sunday evening. Actually, it was Sunday. Sister Peggy fell and she hit her head. She had a big, like a big knot on her leg. She hurt her wrist. And well, of course, we patched her, and she was just She was a mess. She was all like, she was having more tremors. I don't know. The brain stimulator was malfunctioning. We patched her. She did good. I got some water in her system. And like you said, hydration is key for anything health wise. So I had her drinking some water, taking her time, drinking some water through a straw, getting that in her system. And then she got some of the relief from the patches. Well, she went to sleep. She was fine, no pain. Woke up the next morning, and her brain stimulator is off at this point. It completely shut down on her. So I was really concerned because Sister Christina never calls me and says, "We need to pray." Like she was like serious. And I was like, "Oh my goodness." So I started praying with them. But right away, we patched her. We got the four gates kind of like going, and then I put a carnosine on top of her head. And when she put the carnosine on top of her head, she said she felt some vibrations in her brain, which she usually
Wow.
doesn't feel that kind of stuff because that's why she has the brain stimulator in. But yeah, so it was just definitely a challenge. I was a little concerned, but I know God's, in control. So yeah, the
Absolutely.
technology is just amazing, and Sister Christina has so many testimonials herself too, like, just with pain in general.
Mhm.
So I'm just so thankful we are blessed to have this technology. We can just take it, share it, wear it, whatever you want to do with it.
Absolutely. That's exactly right. So tell me, why did you decide to put the carnosine on top of her brain like that?
Well, Christina I was asking Sister Peggy, and it's kind of hard because when this happens to her, she loses like functioning or moving her tongue, like to be able to speak. So she has a hard time speaking, but if you really listen, you can actually make out what she's saying. So just from like the way she was describing everything, she said she felt like jello, like everything with, but she was really shaken, tremoring. So that was my thing. Like I just pray before I patch anybody anyway. But just getting the four gates going, and then I thought if I put another E on, I don't want it to be too like calm, like too limp, so she's like falling over, that kind of thing. So I thought there's nothing wrong with carnosine, and I'm so thankful because it kind of gives her that boost that she needed. So
Absolutely. And did you put it like right on top of the head, like where there's
right
that
on the crown.
meridian point? Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah. Which is just truly amazing. Like I said, with the collagen fibers, wrapping around, that's what makes up that meridian system. And so tell us about that point on top of the head, Vicky.
Well, I mean, I don't really know too much about that point. All I know is that whenever something goes on with the brain, I either have them do the brain balance,
Mhm.
in which, there's extreme brain balance, which that point is very, very good to use. Anything related to like neurological issues where the body and the brain don't communicate like they should. So you
Mhm.
kind of just want to keep the energy flowing and circulating. Got to open up the communication for the body and the brain. And when she feels these things throughout her body, I'm like, praise the Lord, because
Mhm.
usually she doesn't feel that.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I was going through the protocol with the uh, severe symptom and the detox. And I remember the first time that I slept with that on my brain there. And of course, there were multiple other things as well. But that I could feel that tingling throughout my entire body. And that was the first time that I had a friend of mine, acupuncturist, say, "Oh my goodness, Nikki, that's amazing because that means all your meridian systems are open." So that was so cool that and I think with that, it's actually was Eon instead of the carnosine. But obviously, we know carnosine is a master antioxidant inside the brain. So it's why it's so important for the brain. So that's incredible that she was able to feel that like that.
Well, this is kind of like the center, you know what I mean? Like the God center. That's where like
Mhm.
your communication happens. So if you can get this point with the body kind of in alignment, it really, really makes a big difference. Like I start to feel different things. When I did the patching, I really believe that the reason why I wasn't feeling anything was because, first of all, I had a lot of toxins and a lot of deficiencies going on, but the brain balance was what I needed.
Mhm.
My brain, because I wasn't sleeping. So it just affects everything,
Yeah.
everything was off for me, out of balance.
Absolutely. So I just will use a bobby pin and
That's
put
what
it
I
up
do.
there. So yeah, you can use a headband. A bobby pin, I feel like, when you're sleeping, it stays a little bit better than a headband. When I tried the headband, I don't even know where the patch ended up. So where the headband ended up, like, I don't know. So the bobby pin worked better for me. Yes.
I use one
Now,
of those snap barrettes too, where you kind of
oh,
that
yes.
kind of keeps it in place. Like the bobby pin, I felt sometimes, I would take and I would be like, well, like
Yes.
the patch
Yeah.
kind of got stuck to a little hair or two.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my hair always gets stuck. Yes. So with the four gates, were you using the energy enhancer for that, or what were you using?
No, I just threw on 4 eons. That's why I didn't put
Oh,
the eon on the top of the
I
head because
see.
I didn't want
Okay.
her to go, to be too calm and
Right.
So
Yeah.
I
So you
just like
use these lung points here, like right underneath your collarbone. There's kind of that
yes,
insert or whatever. It just kind of dips in real
yes,
easy. So two eons there, and then where were the other ones?
on tops of the feet.
On tops of the feet. Okay. Between like the big toe
Yes,
and the next toe next to it, like in that soft spot there.
yes, liver
Okay.
3. Yeah.
Liver three. Okay. Awesome. Very good with 4 eon. That's good to know for sure. And so that can also be four gates, but you can use different patches for those
Yes.
points as well. Okay.
Now
Awesome.
she did say that she started to feel better, but I guess from her tremoring so much because her stimulator shut down, her arms were just, her body was just out of control. She did Christina did call me back and say that her arm muscles were hurting, so we just patched her up. Put some
Right.
X39 on there, some ice wave, and she just sings the song to me when she's done.
I love
I
it.
look forward to it.
Absolutely. Yes, that's amazing. That is so amazing. I love that. I love that you're getting to help someone in that way. Just truly, just truly special that we get to take advantage of, making a difference for people in this way. So I love that so much.
So
Hmm.
rewarding. I'm so
Hmm.
thankful.
Absolutely. Yes, for sure. Anybody else have a story they want to share?
I have to wait on testimony day because it's too much.
Wait, do I need to just have you come on for a testimony to share a bunch of stories with us?
Sure. I do have some that there's one that's it's so amazing, the testimony, but she's a lady from Puerto Rico and it has to be in Spanish, but I can share some of the things in English about what's been happening to her and everything. But yeah, I mean, I've got so many things every day I hear something great. So,
That is awesome. Well, pick one. Pick one you want to tell us.
oh, right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my, well, y'all know about my blood pressure, right? Well,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely
So
amazing.
that for me is huge. So after almost 10 years of using blood pressure medicine, and one of the things that I changed or I added was I started with the X39. Well, with the X39 and the energy enhancers, and once I started doing those two patches, that's when the difference came in. And
Awesome.
yeah, and that's when I went to the doctor. And the first thing I asked her, I says, okay, what's the blood pressure? And she goes, 117/70. And I almost fell out of my chair.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
so everything, for me has been amazing. And I'm so thankful for this technology. Like every day, I just thank you. When I pray, even before I go to bed, I always say, thank you, Lord, for LifeWave. Thank you for Nikki, for Pastor Ed. And I keep naming everybody,
Yes.
because it's just a blessing,
Mm,
and this is part of the reasons we can't be quiet because we're helping people.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
there's so much need out there.
Mm,
Oh my goodness, it's just crazy, but yeah.
yeah.
And
And
then
you don't take any blood pressure medication, right?
I don't take anything anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. No blood pressure. They wanted me on cholesterol. None of that. Everything has just been so amazing
That's
um
awesome.
in my body ever since I've been on the technology. So I'm so thankful. But the
That's
other ones
awesome.
I'll leave it for another day because it's a lot. Okay.
That's awesome. So tell me,
You can
why did
share
you
on
decide?
Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. We'll have you if you're available on Thursday, we will have you
Okay.
come back and share all the stories that you're hearing from Puerto Rico. That would be amazing.
Okay, well then we can do that. That's not a
Okay,
problem.
okay, awesome.
You
Very
you
good.
were you were going to ask me a question?
Yeah. So why did you decide the energy enhancer for the blood pressure?
Well, I don't know. I guess it was for me. I knew that the X39 had components where it helps the cardiovascular system. But then
Hmm.
I thought, well, what if I combined it with energy enhancer?
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, I was just experimenting
Yeah.
because I had not seen my blood pressure go back to its, it's up. It was like fluctuating.
Right.
And so, but once I did, I'm experimenting. So I said, let me experiment and see what happens. And that did
Absolutely.
it. I mean, for some
Yeah.
reason, I don't know the science, the deep science behind the energy enhancer, but it certainly
Right.
worked for me. I've been using energy enhancer every day.
Yeah.
X39, X49, Eon.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love that because that's what we need to do, right? Because nobody
yes,
knows our body like we know our body.
that's
And
right.
so when we can use this technology and do some of that experimenting and trying new things, that's why I have
Hmm.
this patch right here today. I thought, oh, I
Right,
had watched a video and I was like, oh, I'm going to try that spot and see if I notice anything else with that. This is actually SP6. So I was like, oh, I'm going to try that
right.
spot and see if I notice anything different. So that's what's great is that we should experiment and figure out what's going to work for us, and there might be some spots that work better for us when we do those things, when we try different things. So I love that you did that, Margie. That's amazing.
And one more thing, and one more thing.
Yes.
And the other
Yes.
thing is, for me, the huge big thing was my sleep. I mean, it was just with my regular patches, and I can sleep all night like a baby. I never did that for years. I could not do that. You know,
Wow,
so
that's
that's
awesome. Mhm.
anyway. Y'all go ahead. I'm going
It's
to stop
huge.
talking.
It's
I'm going
so
to stop
huge. Yeah.
talking.
No, you're good. And Pastor Ed, please feel free to come on anytime. I know you had your hand up, and of course, Vicky, you come back on too.
Yeah, I want to tell you about a direct and indirect testimony. I was sleeping when it happened, so I'm not sure if it really happened. You just have to believe Vicky. So she said I was sucking the air out of the room one night, and I had forgotten to put my patches on. Actually, I didn't. I wore it all day long, and at night I forgot to take it off. I didn't put it on because there's one spot that I really like. It's on my top of my foot. So anyhow, she said that she went to the restroom and she took off her silent night and put it on top of me because I sleep like a cocoon on top of my clothes, on top of my blanket, and then in 5 seconds I was out. So I don't remember any of it, but I think that was pretty cool.
That's amazing. I need to start doing that because my husband has a tendency to forget, and he literally barely snores when he makes sure he puts his patches on. He wears Alavita and Silent Night. And but like when I would do it to him before, I would go in and I would put it on his forehead. And so because I was like, okay, it needs to go on his forehead. But I always wake him up and he gets so mad at me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. I'm gonna have to try putting it like on the sheets or something and see if that still works because I'm always waking him up. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just, live with it because I don't want to wake him up and have him get mad at me. So,
That's
oh
funny.
yes,
So
Vicky.
just to continue on this testimony that Pastor Ed started. So yeah, I it was the other night, I think it was like 3 nights ago. And I hear him snoring and I wake up and the first thing I do is I look at the clock. And when I looked at the clock, it said 4. I was like, oh no. So I got up, went to the bathroom and I'm feeling it out. And I'm like, is he really snoring? Okay, so I'm feeling it. So I said, I'm gonna just try to get back into bed. Maybe he'll, stop. And so I got back into bed and I started to get situated and he started snoring again. So I reached down, grabbed my silent line off, and I couldn't really see it. I'm like this, just making sure that I didn't touch him because my husband will freak out if he feels
Ah,
anybody touching him. So I just went like that and I kind of like dropped it on his popcorn blanket. He loves to sleep with his popcorn blanket.
oh
And
my
I said, all
gosh.
right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was counting the second, 5, and he stopped snoring. I was like, I was so happy.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. I may just take a whole bunch of stuff and just like drop it all on chat. I'm gonna just start dropping patches on chat just because I want to make sure. I want to make sure. Like you were really testing it. I would want to make sure. Like, let's see what we can get him to do here. That's awesome.
That's so funny.
Oh
I mean,
my
my sleep, I take my sleep very seriously.
Yes, yes, for sure.
So,
I am the same way, for sure. Yes. Well, thank you all so much for being on the call tonight. Thank you so much for the participation. It was great. I love all the stories. I did forget to mention for all of the educational purposes for you guys to dive deeper, go to patchtheway.com, PATCH, theway.com, and you'll get all kinds of great videos, before and after pictures. Truly a fabulous site to just dive deeper. But really, the most important thing is that you get back with the person who invited you to the call tonight and tell them that you are ready to get started with this technology now. Do not waste one day in seeing what your results can be and getting you down farther in the road and getting more and more genes reset to a younger, healthier state. So definitely start tomorrow. So get that order placed and get going with whoever invited you to this call tonight. So with that, we just pray blessing over each and every one of you. Good night, everybody. Have a great evening.
Good night.
Good night,
night,
ladies.
God bless.
Awesome. Awesome job. Awesome testimonies.